Walaikum
Assalamu
salam.
alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
How are you
Fine,
feeling,
sir.
sir?
How about you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Let's wait for other students.
Yes, sir, we have to wait.
So okay. Muhammad Hamza.
Yes, sir.
Right. So are you ready for the test today?
What test, sir?
What test, sir?
What test? What do you mean by what?
Yes, sir. Surprise test, sir.
Yes, surprise test.
What is this, sir?
Sir,
What is
this paper sent to my friend sent me this paper. Muhammad name
right?
is
It's
my
Peshawar
neighbor. So
University's paper, right?
yes, sir, yes, sir. He
So
study in
yes.
Peshawar University.
So we'll talk about this today as well, okay?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Hmm. Yes. Do you want to ask me any question if you have any sort of question? We'll wait for others to come. Everybody is just joining in. So let me admit them. And if you have any sort of question, you can ask me.
Yes, sir. What type of test is this? Blood test or urine test?
Corona
Huh?
test.
Or corona test? What type of test is this?
Yes, sir. What type
Assalamu
of
Test
test
alaikum,
is
sir.
is
this?
you are taking
Walaikum
today, sir?
assalam. Walaikum assalam. Thank you. It is your test, your mental test.
Okay, mental test.
Sir, we are
जी?
mentally fine होता बदलता नहीं.
Sir, we are not mentally fine.
Yes. So we have 16 students. Huh? So we will wait for other students to come. If you want to ask me any question or if you want to say something, you
So,
can. Yes.
so everyone is asking about paper, like English one paper. So
So
what
do
should
you
come
see
in
it
the
on
paper?
your screen? Do you see it on your screen? I have shared this model paper with you. Do you
Yes,
see
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can see it. Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
talk about with the paper today as well, right? So because
Yes, sir.
whatever we are
That's great.
doing is also listening and speaking skill. But see, what I was afraid of this thing, that in the exams, they ask you things, okay, the different sort of things, right? Like, for
Yes,
example,
sir. It
they
is something
most,
different. Like
yes, mostly they ask students about these MCQs. I don't know, I really don't understand why do they do this, but this is how they take exams.
Sir, the paper will be online or what?
I don't know that.
Sir, expected date क्या है sir?
I don't know anything, right? You can ask the administration.
Hello, assalamu
Or
alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. You can ask your coordinator or your HOD. I don't know, right?
they will take it, sir,
Walaikum
physically,
assalam.
not online.
Sir, when will be our mids?
I
ना
just
पता
told
नहीं.
you I don't know anything. You just go and
Yes,
ask it
sir.
from your coordinator or the administration, right?
Okay, sir.
So you just ask me question in the subject. If you have any problem, you can ask me that. Hmm. So see all these students, Bakhtawer, Mazali, you are late. So I can wait for like 2, 3 minutes and then I will start. So yes.
Yes, sir.
So do you want to talk about anything? Do you want to ask me anything? Is there anything you want to aid? Or if you want to say something, just say it.
Yes, sir. Do you watch movies, sir?
Yes, I
English
watch
movies
movies.
or seasons, sir?
Yes, I watch movies, I watch seasons, I watch everything.
Sir, kindly suggest some beautiful
Which
movies
type
for
of
our
movies like, sir?
English. Sir, English movies kindly suggested.
English movies such like for what?
Yes, sir, for literature, sir.
For literature, you should go and watch this one movie. I liked it very much, The Great Debater. Have you watched it?
No, sir.
Right,
No,
No,
sir.
sir,
no,
we
sir.
haven't watched it yet,
Yes, that is
but
a
we will
very
watch it.
interesting movie. A great debater. That is
Great.
one of my favorites.
Sir,
Okay,
it
sir.
is it on Netflix or not?
I don't think so. You cannot find it on Netflix. I don't know whether
Okay.
it's on Netflix or not. You just go and search it. There is another very classic movie, okay, and I don't think that you have watched that because many people have not watched it, and that is One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest.
No,
No,
sir, we
sir.
don't watch.
You haven't watched it.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. We
No, sir.
haven't.
Sir,
But
say it again.
One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. Please stop.
Oh,
Who is listening to this Pushto songs? Please mute your mic. You are asking me about English movies and then you go and watch these, listen to
Sir,
these.
it's my younger brother,
सर
sir. It's my
पुख्तो और
younger
कदरस
brother.
था
He's
को
listening to Pushtu song, sir. My younger brother. He's sitting
Okay,
with me and he's listening to Pushtu song, sir.
so if there is a noise, you can mute your mic. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Actually,
sir.
he is doing some shararat. Told him already.
No,
It's
what I'm
Juma.
just telling you is that always mute it because you will feel embarrassed if there is like in your family or your friend say something. So you will feel embarrassed, right? So what I'm telling you is that
yes, sir.
always check your mic.
Yes, sir. It's quite.
This is the
It's been
movie.
quite.
This is the movie. See, do you see it on your screen now? One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. This is a very famous movie. Do you see it? Yes? Hello?
Embarrassing.
Sir, may
Yes.
I ask a question, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir, what is the purpose of these passages you give us as
Yes,
assignments, sir?
I will tell you. Okay, right. The purpose is, look, if you read your course description, let me read that one as well. Do you have a have you read the course outline? Hmm?
नो सर
Okay,
I not have in the soft form.
let me share it with you. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right.
So there is a guy, Imdadullah, sir. Sir,
Hmm.
he hasn't WhatsApp. Sir, how can we add him, sir?
I don't know. You cannot aid him if he doesn't have a WhatsApp. Why? If he has an internet, he can have WhatsApp. So it means that he doesn't have a internet as well. So see, now listen to me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's start it. Okay. I think everybody is here. Now, do you see it on your screen? That is your course outline or course description. Do you see it?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you see, the course focuses on listening and speaking. Okay. The former gives students an exposure to the accent and stress and intonation patterns of different native and non-native speakers, while the later is a practice of what they listen to. Both are equally important in bringing about an improvement in listeners' or learners' language proficiency in an academic or non-academic settings. This is the course description, that whatever, like, this course will teach you how to be a better speaker and how to be a better listener, right? So how can you be a better listener or how can you be a better speaker is by practicing. If you read and then you talk, and the most important thing is the practice, right? So through video visual aids, okay, pen and paper exercises, okay, and interactive sessions in the class. Student improve their listening and speaking skills and build their vocabulary. These are the activities that we should do in the class. So if you see nowadays, unfortunately, we have this online class, right? So in online class, what we can do is that I can give you these passages and you go and read it. And then if you, this is one of the best exercises. Remember that when you read something and then you can answer the question at the end of every passage. So number one is that it is a very good exercise for reading practice. It is also a very good exercise for writing as well. It also improves your analytical sense, right? You become like you when you go and do the skimming and scanning exercise, finding the answers in that passage. So it can improve your analytical ability as well. So this is one of the best exercises. This comprehension and précis writing will help you so much. So, and another thing is, if you remember, I told you that you can improve speaking by writing. Remember, many people say that we don't have a environment where we should speak. So if you want to really improve your speaking, is that you go and write. Now all the passages that you have read, now if I ask you questions and if you have written the answer to those questions, you will be like you can answer me those questions. But if I ask you something you have not read, then it will be difficult. So what we are doing is that we are improving our language. That is the most important thing. See, if you see learners language proficiency in academic or non-academic settings. So this is the most important thing. And listening, I will give you other exercises, listening exercises. So like in the beginning today lectures, right? You ask me that suggest me a movie. So if you go and watch movies or listen to music, right? Or listen to somebody who is speaking English. Even if you listen to me right now, you are learning, you are improving your listening skills. Do you understand me?
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
Aya.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
So
sir.
sir.
now, what is the most important thing? Now, listen to me very, very carefully. Remember, in schools and colleges, what we do is that why do we study English as a subject, as a compulsory subject? Can you answer me this? Why do we study English as a compulsory subject? What is the reason? Can anybody
Because he is
answer
the
me?
international language.
What?
Because our English is rich.
No, English is rich,
The
but what
office
is,
language or something in Pakistan.
so
In
why do we
Pakistan.
study English as a compulsory subject for almost 12 years?
Because
Sir,
it
it's
is
the basis
not
of life.
International language.
No, 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 no. Try to understand my question. We study it, we teach our children English so that they can speak and they can write, so that they should learn how to speak and how to write and how to read. That
Yes,
is
sir.
our purpose, right?
Yes, sir.
You agree with
Yes,
me?
sir.
So our
Yes,
purpose
yes,
is
sir.
to learn how to read, how to write, and how to speak. That is the purpose. It should not be our purpose to just go and pass the paper. You see, there are so many students that they pass paper, but they cannot write a single sentence. What is the problem? The problem is that their main motive or their purpose is to just pass a paper. So you can pass a paper without learning English, remember. This is very unfortunate. I don't know, but this is really, really very alarming that many our students pass the second year exams. Now, if you see second year English paper is very tough. I don't know how they pass the paper, but when I ask them to write something or to speak in English, they cannot even say a single sentence. What is the reason is that they just go and memorize certain definitions and they pass the paper with those definitions, and later on they cannot speak or they cannot write. That is the problem. Now here we also have the same issue. When I read this course description, I thought that it is because that you should improve your listening and speaking skills. But when I saw the model paper, that was something very different. Now you see, wait a second. Like for example, in first year and second year, I remember in schools we were taught these different these different kinds of noun, right? The collective noun or the abstract noun or the concrete nouns. You remember that in schools you have memorized it.
Yes, sir.
Have you
Yes, sir.
memorized the definitions of verbs, adjectives, adverbs? Now, when you ask somebody what is verb, they will they will very quickly answer you that a verb is a word which shows action. But that
Yes, sir.
definition is not going to help you. Remember, that definition can only help you pass the paper. If you don't learn it practically, okay, you will not be able to use those part of
Sir,
speech. Yes.
sir, we had been teached English in a way that as a subject, sir, not in a way that we should speak or write it, sir.
So
I think
that
that
is that is the problem. Yes, of course, you are 100% right that we are taught this English as a subject to just go and pass the paper. How can you memorize? How can you define active voice, passive voice? You cannot define it. There are certain
Yes,
things that
sir.
you can never ever define it. Now, how can you define listening? Now, if somebody asks you that, can you define listening? Well, listening is when you listen to somebody. That is very simple. Now, why should we waste time on memorizing certain definitions which are already understood, right? We already know. If somebody asks you, what is speaking? Speaking is when you talk to somebody, when you speak, that is speaking. So I don't
Yes, sir.
understand why they set certain paper. I thought that this subject is all about listening and speaking. So in the exams, we will give you certain exercises. Like for example, we will interview you. Okay, that would carry marks. Okay, or for example, we will give you dialogues and you will listen to those dialogues, and then we will ask you questions in that dialogues. So I thought that the paper should be like this, okay? But what happened
Yes, sir.
was
It
that
is.
when I saw this paper, this model paper, we will discuss it. So now we have two responsibilities. Number one, responsibility is that we have to learn English, right? So we have to read these passages and then discuss it with our friends and then go and write about it. If we make mistakes, okay, we can ask our teacher or our classmates and they can help you. So remember, there is no shortcut to learn this English. You have to go and read. So the more you read, the more you will learn. Remember this thing. But we also have to pass the paper. That is also very important. So for that, today we will just talk about the pattern, okay, or the exams, because I will not set your final term paper. So whoever set that paper, we will study the model paper and then we will study accordingly. But don't worry, we can very easily learn those things. That is very, very easy. So if you see, listen to this last one. By the end of the course, the student will be able to listen, comprehend, and speak more proficiently. Okay, they will also be able to communicate effectively, okay, and efficiently with their peers and teachers. See, that should be the purpose. So there is nothing wrong with the description of the course, like this is our course. So how can we do it? And these are your course contents. So if you see the course content, we have studied this narration. See, we studied a story, and then I asked you to rewrite it in your own words. So you went and wrote it in your own words. So if you can, and even I asked you in the previous lecture, I asked you to tell me the story. So you were narrating that story to me. Now I cannot ask everybody to narrate it. That is the reason that I tell you to go and read the passages, read the stories, and then write the same story in your own words. Do you understand me? Right?
yes, sir.
And if you see
Yes,
this
sir. Yes, sir.
discussion
Yes, sir.
skill, now discussion skills, now we cannot define it. How can you define discussion skills? Now, how can we improve it? Yes, I can tell you that you can improve it by reading something and then talk about it. So if you remember, I gave you 8 passages, you went and read it, you answer all the questions, and now we will talk about those passages. So we will discuss it. So this will give us, we can improve our discussion skills by practically doing it, right? Got it?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm doing is that I'm doing all those exercises. So let's talk about so uh, I think you understand it, right? So for example, in school, colleges, we should not teach students what verb is, and we should not ask them in exams. We should teach them what verb is, but we should not ask them in exams to define what is verb. We should ask them to write a story, to write something like, so that they can go and use verbs in it, or adjectives in it, or different sort of speeches, okay, parts of speech or sentence structure. So if you go and write it, use it practically, it will help you. Otherwise, like for example, some of you are nowadays studying grammar, right? Okay, so I saw those few your pages, right? So there are students that they go and try to memorize different kind of nouns. What is a collective noun? What is an abs? This will, yes, of course you should know it a little bit, but then you should not waste time memorize it. You should go and read stories, essays, prose, poetry, all those things, which will improve your this language skills, reading, writing, and then speaking. So wait a second, let me share that paper with you, and we will talk about the paper. And we have already discussed it in the class, in the first class, the introduction class. You remember that orientation class? Do you remember your first class when I took the first class with you?
Sir, some of us were not there in
So
that
yes,
class.
now we can talk about it. So see, this will be the model paper, right? So if you see, they had this Peshawar University, because Edwards College is affiliated with the Peshawar University, so they will set the final term paper. So this is their model paper for this semester first, right? English 1. So if you see the questions, right? Let me do this, right? So see, answer should be typed in the same attachment. So they took this online test, I guess. Okay. So look at this question number 1. Do you see this highlighted question?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at this question, this is so, wait a second. Okay. Yes. Discuss in detail the role of active listening in effective communication, right? So yes, what is active listening? Do you know? Yes.
To listen someone attentively.
See, that is it. Like how so is, see this this guy, this student has already defined it, right? The type of listening which is fully concentrated and attentive. It means when you give attention, or attention to listen the speaker. See, like this is very, very, I don't know how, what to say. I should not say something, but like, remember, like this is, we already know what active listening is. So we talked about it. If you remember, we talked about those internal and external distraction. That was very important. We talked about it,
Yes,
how
sir.
to improve your listening skills. So we just discussed it. I did not teach you anything. You already know. See, effective communication is when there is sharing of ideas and information with one another in effective and best way. Yes, of course. What is communication? What is effective communication? Is this, right? So again, he defined communication. Now, how can you define
Sir,
communication?
excuse me.
G, yes.
Idris is waiting, sir, for class. Let him in.
So why don't they come on time? If they come late, this will happen. Okay, let me admit them. Let me admit them. I just did. Okay. Yes. So do you understand, right? What I mean is that, yes, we will learn this, but it will hardly take 1 hour to learn all these things, right? So role of active listening in effective communication is that gain knowledge. Of course, if you listen attentively, you
Yes,
will
sir.
get knowledge. Getting the main idea of the topic. Of course, everybody, even children know that if they listen attentively, what will they do is that they will understand the topic. Solution of a problem, okay, encouragement to the speaker. We already know these things. So if you want me to teach this, I can teach you this as well, but I don't think so that that somebody should come and teach you these things. You already know these things, right? And we talked about it, right, in the first introductory class. Okay, do you think a balanced interruption is good? What strategies are needed to keep that balance? So we will talk about it. So see, these are very simple questions. Anybody can answer these questions, even if they don't have taken this class. Okay, still they can ask. They can answer these questions. These are very general questions. That how can you be a better listener? How can we how can we improve our listening skills? So we will study this as well. So I'll send you this paper, you go and read it, and if you have any sort of question, and then you can ask me. So I think personally is that reading those passages and stories and poems and then talk about it, you learn vocabulary from that, right? You improve your analytical sense, right, skills, and you can also improve your discussion skills, right? So you learn so many things that way. Otherwise, if you go and learn these definitions, I don't know how will it help you, but yes, in exams it will definitely help you. Now let me share one thing with you. So today we will talk about this, right? Okay, just give me a second. Yes. Where is it? Yes. Now, do you see it on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Communication process.
Yes, sir.
Process.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, what is
Yes, sir.
communication process? Okay. What is communication? So, see, what we are doing it right now is that is communication. When you talk to somebody, when you share your ideas with someone, when you convey your message to someone, that is communication, right? And you know,
Yes, sir.
communication is so important that we can not even live without communication, right? And that is true, right? That if you do not communicate with people nowadays, how can you live, right? You cannot even live without communication these days. And especially humans, what they do is that they communicate. Even animals communicate with one another, but the only difference with them is that they do not use language while we use language. They use non-verbal communication, right? Those signs and body language, okay, those sounds, but we have a proper system, right? And that is the grammar, the language. So see, the communication is a two-way process wherein the message in the form of ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions is transmitted between two or more person with the intent of what? Creating a shared understanding. Do you see it? So I will send you this one. You go and read it, and
Yes,
you
sir.
can read it, find it yourself as well on the internet. So whatever you write will be okay. Simply an act of conveying intended information and understanding from one person to another is called a communication. The term communication is derived from this Latin word. So see, that is like a little bit history. Effective communication is when the message conveyed by the sender is understood by the receiver in exactly the same way as it was intended. So that is now very important, that sometimes we fail to communicate properly, right? And I remember we talked about this as well. Sometimes there are people that they have these communication skills are so good that they can communicate whatever they want to communicate effectively, While then there are people that if their communication is weak, they will not be able to convey and share their ideas or opinions or intended information to somebody because of communication. So how to improve communication? First, you have to understand the process of communication. Like, how does it work? How does it this communication work? So if you see this one, like this is the model, right? Do you see it on your screen?
Yes, sir.
So communication works like this, right? If you see, the sender must be there. The sender is a person who will give you the message. So if you see, he will encode that message. So first, what all these one, two, three, four, five, six. These six elements are very, very important. If you just remove one element, what will happen? That communication will not take place. Remember, like for example, we need to have a, like for example, we are talking right now. So I'm the what? I'm the sender,
And
right?
Sender.
Like for
Sender.
example, teacher, right?
Sender, sir.
I'm the
You
sender,
are
teacher,
the
right?
sender.
And I'm encoding
Yes,
this
sir.
message in what? In English. See,
In
Yes,
I'm
sir.
English, yes,
using
sir.
words, I'm using words, I'm encoding this message in the language English, and you understand this English. So what you are doing is that you are decoding it. So students, right?
So what is channel, sir? Where
I'm
the word
telling you,
used channel.
channel is the medium, okay? The medium. What is the
For
medium?
example,
Like for example, nowadays, now this time, like we are talking to one another through Zoom. Okay, we can
yes,
talk
sir.
to face, we
The
can talk
resources.
on WhatsApp. Nowadays there are so many mediums. Yes, like we can talk, you can call me, you can talk to me on the on WhatsApp, on Facebook. So whatever medium you find, so medium is also very, very important. Air can be the medium, right? Like when you talk to somebody, so there the medium is the air. Sometimes it can be electronic media, right? Okay, you can send letters to
Sir,
one
why
another.
you mark message channel and receiver as nice?
Okay, yes, very good. So noise means the barriers, right, the problems that we face while communicating with one another. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Like for example, sometimes we can have this internet issue. So all those people who have this internet issue, what happens to them is that they cannot communicate with us. Why they cannot communicate with us? Because they don't have the medium. So this noise is basically barriers or problems uh, of communication, right? Yes.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you understand it?
Yes, sir.
And the last one, which is very, very important, is the feedback. See, when I say like when I say something and then I ask you, do you understand? What I'm waiting for is the feedback. So if we have a feedback, communication will take place. But if we don't have a feedback, communication will not take place. So everything is very, very important. And the another thing which is very important is the context as well. And I remember we talked about this one in the class as well. You remember it? We talked about context. Yes?
so message and context, I think is the same thing.
No. Context, message should be according to the context. Context is the background, the situation. Okay. Like for example, right now, our context is the class. So the in the class context, what happens is that the teacher talks and the students listen to him and then they ask one another questions. So see, if we meet somewhere outside and we don't have a class, our whole communication style will be different. Why? Because the context is different. So context is basically a background. Okay, it has, like, it's a very broad term, very, very broad term, so you can include many things in it. So what happens is that your message should be according to the context. If it is not according to the context, effective communication will not take place. So all these
Yes,
things are
sir.
very important. The listener is important, and then the listener should decode the message. That is very, very important. Decode means that he should use language which the receiver could decode. If the receiver like he does not understand that language, again the communication will not take place. So communication is very, very important, right? So why I'm talking about it today is that in exams they ask you these questions. So if you know this process of communication now, in today's, like for example this semester, you are only focusing on one thing, and that is this one. Okay, the encoding means the speaking. Okay, and
Yes, sir.
speaking of
Speaking.
English, speaking English, and then receiver, or what, receiver, or
Sir,
the,
to whom we talk.
yes, and the receiver decoder means you must be a good listener. So if you are not a good listener, what happens is that you will not understand. So we are just working on these two things now, for now, the listener and listening and speaking.
And
Uh,
speaking.
yeah, so if you are a good speaker, automatically you will communicate properly and effectively. If you are a good listener, again it will help you understand and decode that message in a simple way and effective way. So I think you understand this process of
Yes.
communication, right? And remember,
Yes, sir.
follow it.
Yes,
Sometimes,
sir.
like for example, we all the time have these problems in life, and it is just because of this communication. And that is the context. See, like for example, most of the time we do not understand the context and we make mistakes. Like for example, when you come and tell your friend a joke, right? And sometimes he minds it and he gets angry. And then later on you say, well, I did not mean it. So when you say I did not mean it, it means that you understood that you broke the context. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Like
Yes,
sometimes we
sir.
say, well, I did not mean it. Okay, that was not
Yes,
my
sir.
context.
Exactly.
So all these problems, if you see with the friends, with the family members, all these problems, like we have these problems, mostly is because of this communication skills, that we do not use these elements properly, and that is the reason that the other persons, they understood or misunderstand us sometimes. So it's very, very important, and it will help you in academic writing, in professional life. It's very, very important, even in daily life as well. So if you have this, this will help you. Okay, so I will send you this file, or you can go and search it yourself. Remember, that's why I'm asking you to read these passages and then give you assignments, a lot of assignments. I know that it was very tough to read 8 passages and then answer all those questions. But remember, you have to develop this habit. It will help you if you continue doing this for 1 month. You will get used to it. Okay, so
Yes,
this
sir.
is the explanation. You can
Sir,
go and read it yourself. Yes, you want to ask
so
me?
there is any difference between conversation and communication?
Yes, conversation is
Are you hear me, sir?
communication. Yes, yes, I can hear you. Communication is conversation, and yes, conversation is a
Sir,
part of
is this
communication.
same things?
G, what?
Okay.
Communication is everything. Remember, even if you text me, that is communication. When you call me, that is communication. When you do not answer me, even then you are communicating. We human beings all the
Okay.
time communicate. Like for example, if you just come to the college, enter the college, you are communicating. Everybody can understand that you have come here to study. See, even if you don't say anything, still we understand. Like, for
Yes, sir.
example, in Pushtun culture, if you propose a girl, okay, and she doesn't say anything, what does it mean?
Yes.
What does she mean?
Sir, it means she is
She agree.
She ag-
She agree, yes, sir.
it means she
She
agree.
agree.
interested.
Yes, now this you really understand very well. So communication is everything, remember, right? The way you
Yes, sir.
behave, the whatever you
She's
wear,
interested, sir.
see, whatever you wear also communicates. Why you always wear this neat and expensive shirts and pants, and why you, even your haircut also communicates. The way you set your hair, that also communicates
Yes,
something.
sir.
The way you walk, the way you speak, the way you behave, everything is communication, right? So conversation is basically communication, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you please show us the writing below on your screen?
Yes, I will send you this one. You will read it. Okay, so this is very
Yes,
simple.
sir.
See, this is
Yes, sir.
now, you can write it in your own words. You don't have to memorize it. You just go through it, right? Just read it.
Sir, first we will read it, sir, and then we will write it down by your own words, sir.
Very good. That is a good practice. So all these things I have explained it, right? Decoding, see the feedback, the noise shows the barriers in communication. There are chances when the message sent by the sender is not received by the recipient, right? Like he may not receive it, or sometimes if he receive it, he will not understand it. Now, this is the topic, okay, the listening. So if I ask you very simple, again, very simple, you already know these things. So do not get confused when you get certain questions in the question, like in your final term paper, right? Because this is not very difficult. See, listening, what are the benefits of effective listening? Yes, it enhances your productivity. Okay, if you listen to somebody attentively, actively, what will happen is that you will learn. Okay, for example, if you are taking a creative writing class and you are listening to that person very attentively, so you are learning. Remember, if you are listening to anybody attentively, you learn all the time. So it enhances your productivity. It improves relationships. Do you know this? That if you are a good listener, you will improve your, it will improve your relationships.
Sir,
How?
we
Can
don't
you
know,
give me,
sir. How,
can,
sir?
like, for example, there are people that they are not good listeners. Like you tell them a story and they say, well, you know what, let me tell you a story. So they do not listen to you. So if you listen to somebody, it really improve your relationship. People, we human beings always like
Okay, sir.
people who are good listeners. Remember this. So sometimes you listen to people, even if whatever they are talking, even if you're getting bored at times, you have to listen to people, right? So if you are a good listener, people will like you, people will love you if you are a good listener, right? And especially good
Yes, sir.
Yes,
listener
sir, we can understand.
to women, right? Huh? That is the reason that all these men listen to women. Why? Because they want to have a good relationship. If they don't listen, okay, they will never ever have a good relationship. Do you
Sir,
understand?
but in our classes, sir, they're not talking too much.
They are
Then
what?
how we can listen?
I'm not talking about the
So
class.
especially
I'm talking.
girls.
I'm talking about husband and wife.
He is
Okay.
making relationship,
Sir,
sir.
generally just I.
Okay.
He want to make
No,
relationship.
generally, even like, see, if you listen to me
Sir,
as well,
wife always just speak.
yes, they
She
always
can't
speak.
listen.
Yes. Is there any girl in the class? Do you
Sir,
want to read something?
Asadullah is enjoying.
Yes, sir. Every girl is just speaking. They
Right.
can't listen.
So you should also listen sometimes, right? It will improve that relationship. Okay. Avoid conflicts. See, we have always these conflicts, right? Whenever we talk to one another, conflicts. Do you know what conflicts means?
Tanasa something.
Yes, yes. So if you
Clause.
listen
Zat, sir.
properly, you will understand the situation, you will understand that person, and you can avoid conflicts. If you, there are certain people that they do not even listen. Okay. So when you don't listen, you don't understand what is going on, and then problem comes, right? You create problems. So improve understanding. Of
Yes,
course,
sir.
if you are active listener, it will improve your understanding, it will improve negotiation skills, right? You can be a good negotiator, right, if you listen properly. Okay. Yes. Where are other students? Aftab, are you there? Yes. Arbab, Afan Khan Suri, are you there? Azaz Parvez,
Yes, sir. He
Ali Sufyan, why are you not talking? I think they are understanding this class, okay, and they are listening. So, and they are listening very attentively, I guess.
Among listening skills, yeah, to Zaka, sir.
Yes, yes. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute, right?
Sir, we are just
Give
listening.
give me a minute, please. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
CRM ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಖಬರ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಯಾರ್ ಮನು ಯಾರ
Yes, I'm here now.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, yes, somebody was calling me. Just give me a minute, right? Hello? Walaikum assalam. Asghar zar ta phone kom lag saat ke kha? Okay, okay, man. Hello, I'm here now, please.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, there was a call. Okay, now I'm here. So what were we talking about? Yes. So yes, benefit. Now, bas Rehan, listen.
Okay, sir, I'm listening.
Okay, so we were talking about this benefits of listening. There are so many, okay, and what happens is that there can be more, and you can write it in your own words, or whatever benefits you think of, you can write it. It's not necessary that only these benefits you can mention in the paper. You can write your own. If you think of any other benefit, you can tell me right now. So it also aids to your image and personality. See, if you are a good listener, people like certain kind of people, and you can improve even your image and personality. It helps you stand out, right? Or you will be appreciated. People will appreciate you if you are a good listener. To obtain information, right? See, gain information. You can gain information to understand and to learn, and all these can be the benefits, right? So you already know this. You can go and search about it. So remember, number one is that there are like two ways to learn this listening skill. One is that you have to improve your listening skill. And one thing is that you go and write it in exams, that what listening skills are and how to improve it. Those both are totally different things. One will help you get good marks, while the other will help you in professional life, right? In your daily life as well. So that is up to you, that you should give time to the one, okay, so that you can learn it practically. If you see active listening, okay, what is active listening and how can you improve your active listening is by avoiding introductory unnecessary noise. Okay, don't interrupt the speaker. We talked about this one in the class, that
Yes,
premature
sir.
evaluation. Why? Because your thinking speed is so high, and mostly these people, what we do is that if a person is not a good listener, he will always interrupt the speaker in the middle. Okay, so we should not do that. We should sit still. Okay, nod your head. If you are a good listener, you will pretend that you are listening, even if you do not understand what the speaker is saying, but you are just pretending that you are understanding, and nod your head. And this nonverbal communication give the speaker nonverbal communication that you are listening and understanding it, will help you lean towards the
Excuse me,
speaker,
sir.
right? Do not sit and in a relaxed mood, lean forward to the speaker, and the speaker will get an idea that yes, this person is listening to me attentively. So this will also motivate the speaker as well. Okay, repeat instruction and ask appropriate question when the speaker has finished. So only ask question when the speaker has finished the lecture or the point. So then later on you can ask question. In the middle, never ever ask question or never interrupt the person while he's speaking. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so then if you see,
Yes.
there are benefits of active listening, show great respect. I know it's very difficult for me to teach certain things because you already know these things. There is there is nothing new in it, but still you ask me to teach you or to show you the model paper. So this is the model paper, and in this way they'll ask you question. Like benefits of active listening is number one is show great respect to the to the speaker, make possible further disclosure, right? It facilitates the listener to stay focused. So if you are a good listener, these are the benefits that you will get. Now, what is the most important thing is here, barriers to effective listenings or faults in listening. Okay, like what mistakes do we make in listening? So number one is, if you see this external distraction, you see external distraction. Okay, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Now there are barriers,
External, yes,
different
sir.
kind of barriers or problems to this listening or effective listening. Number one is like external distraction. External means, okay, like for example, any distractions, like noise can be a distraction. For example, when we talk here, sometimes there is a noise in the mic. Okay, that can be a problem. Okay, so if there is a noise, if there is if even people like in the class, if you see sometimes students talk to one another, that can be a problem of listening. So these are some external factors or external problems which can easily be controlled. Like for example, visual distraction. Visual distraction is like, for example, if you look outside and there is like, for example, two three other people, they are talking outside the class, it can distract you. Or even if you see a beautiful bird outside the window, right in the window, it can distract you. Or any beautiful object, right? Physical setting can be a problem. Physical setting means if it's like the weather is very hot, okay, and when the light is dim, it also affect your listening. Remember, there is a research that dim light can also affect your listening skills.
Listening.
Yes. Do you
Exactly.
understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then there are
Yes,
certain
sir.
objects. For example, if you remember in the class, remember we had a teacher, and like whenever he would deliver the lecture, there were some students that they would play with the pen, okay, that making that tuck tuck noise, right? So it also can
Yes, sir.
distract you. So okay, the person speaking, so of course this will really distract you, the person, if two or three people are talking to one another. And then the most important one is, this is called internal distraction, which
Internal,
is
yes.
something
Yes, sir.
psychological. Which is something psychological, and it
Yes.
really what happens is that you should understand it. It can be very helpful. I personally think that you might not know this one. Internal distractions are like anxiety. Okay, if you have anxiety, okay, that can be your internal distraction. How? Yes, if you have certain problems in your family, problems, or for example in the university, if you have certain problem, money issue, or any other anxiety problem, so you will not be able to
Stage fright,
concentrate.
sir.
Yes, many people say that when you go to the class,
Like
your parents will always guide you
जी
and
sir, sir.
advise you to listen to attentively to your teacher, right? But nobody will tell you that how can I attentively listen to my teacher. There are certain factors which really affect my listening skill. And what are those factors? Is one is external factor, which is very easy to control. If the light is dim, okay, you can switch more lights, switch
Yes,
on more
sir.
lights. If there is a noise, you can reduce that as well. But there are certain internal factors. Now, internal factors are very difficult to control, okay, but another very important and the positive thing is that if you know about internal distraction, if you only know about it, it is 70 or 80% it is solved, right? Like for example, there's another one, self-centered people. There are people who are self-centered. They only think about themselves all the time. So whenever the teacher or the speaker is talking to them, they think about themselves all the time, and they try to find the answer that they will give it to the teacher so that people will appreciate them. So there are people that they only think about them. They are very self-centered people. Do you get it?
Sir, also we
Yes.
can call it selfish.
Not
We,
selfish, I don't know, but self-centered is, yeah, they love themselves so much. So they always
yes,
be the,
Self-obsessed.
yes, self-obsessed. Yes. Okay, kind of, yeah.
yes, correct.
So they are very self-centered people. They do not listen. Okay. They always say what they want to say. Okay. Another one is mental laziness. Of course, if you are mental lazy, how can you concentrate? Boredom is another problem, internal problem. If you are bored, there are people, so you will not even concentrate. Sense of superiority. You see, this is also a distraction. Sense of superiority, that many people consider themselves superior. So when you consider yourself superior, why will you listen to
Yes, sir.
somebody? You will never ever be able to listen to somebody. So if you consider yourself superior, okay. So there are so many. Okay, we talked about this one in the class, I guess, right? You remember it, though, those prejudice against impatient or prejudice against the
Yes,
speaker.
sir.
I think
Yes, sir.
what is the prejudice against the speaker
सर गुस्सा मतलब उसको हम नहीं
in
सुनना
English?
चाहते तो
Like sometimes
सर
Sir,
you might have
it's
a,
unnecessary hate.
Like, sir.
yes. What?
Sir, unnecessary.
Yes, like for
Like,
example, I'll give you
sir,
example. Like sometimes you might have hard time listening. Why? Because you do not agree with the speaker, right? Like maybe he's
yes sir.
talking about something that you do not agree with that person. So we as human have the tendency, right, to be close-minded at times. We are sometimes close-minded at times. So when we say we are prejudiced against that person, that we will never ever listen. Like, can you tell me, all of you, have you ever listened to Nawaz Sharif's speech? Ever?
No, sir.
No
yes,
sir.
sir.
Why?
No,
No,
Because
sir.
you
sir.
are prejudiced against him.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes
should at least go and
Yes,
listen
sir.
to
I
him.
listen him.
So if you listen to that person,
If he is wrong or right, sir, we don't like him, so
Yes,
we
sir.
don't
so
want to
that is
listen
called
him.
prejudiceness, right? That is
Yes,
yes
what
yes.
sir.
I'm telling you, is that prejudice against someone. You just said it, that I don't like that person. So there are certain words that you don't like as
Yes,
we
sir.
do not
Sir,
like
I
certain.
can't hear.
We
Yes.
can't
Sir, I
want to
can't hear the
listen him, yes, sir.
speech of Imran Khan, sir.
Yes. So it means that you are
I
prejudiced
can't listen him.
against Imran Khan, right?
Sir,
So
sir,
see,
does
if
it
you are,
mean that we are
Yes, sir.
prejudging
You are
this
right, sir.
person, sir?
yes. So what if you want to be a good listener, you should know that yes, sometimes we can be prejudiced as human being, because this is very normal. But yes, if you want to learn something from somebody, if you want to understand a situation, if you want to solve problem, so even if you are prejudiced against someone, you sometimes give it time and listen to that person. Like this is very, very like very, very kind of unique and strange, that whenever I ask my students that whether they like Malala Yousafzai or not, now majority people say that they do not like Malala Yousafzai. I don't know why, but they say we don't like her. Do you like her?
No, sir.
Yes,
No, sir.
sir.
I
No,
like
Yes,
sir.
sir.
No,
answer
sir. No,
question.
sir.
Now she didn't do anything wrong, but still we say we don't like. Can girls
Yes.
answer? Is there
Yes,
any
sir.
girl in
Sir,
the
she
class?
spread the Islamophobia, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
they also don't know why they hate. Sir, they
yes,
also don't know why they
yes,
hate
yes. Is
Malala.
there
This
any
is
female
another
in the class?
question, but we don't like.
Yes, is there any
Why?
female in the class? Let them answer this question. Yes,
Yes.
Sitara Hussein, are you there?
मैं
Sitara.
बोलूं
Yes,
मैं बोलूं
yes. Why not?
She is overrated. I think she is overrated. If you look at Arfa Karim, most of the people won't remember her, and most of them will remember Malala.
Yes.
Then why?
So no. For example, if many people like, if you see, many people remember this Qadi but then there were other people who really worked very hard for Pakistan. It was not only Qadi who fought for Pakistan, but we
Exactly,
only
sir.
know
Yes,
Qadi
sir.
Exactly.
बिल्कुल.
So it is okay. It
Sir,
is
but
okay.
Qaid-e-Azam lead those people, sir.
Of course, yes, you are right 100%. But remember, everybody cannot be famous. Everybody cannot be that popular, right? So it's okay if she is on in the spotlight. There is like, we should not say that we hate her. Okay. So, but that is something different. We are talking about now this prejudice against the speaker. So I've read the book she wrote. So if you go and listen to her, okay, you will learn something from her as well.
Sir, I think
Because
we should be proud of her, sir.
yes, that is something personal. I will never tell you, that is
Yes,
your
sir.
personal judgment, whatever you
It's your
like.
choice.
Yes, but what I just told
Being a
you, that
Pakistani,
is
we should
pure
respect her.
prejudice. Okay. Yes, that is pure prejudice. So if you are prejudiced, you will not be a good listener. So remember this thing. Okay, look at this. Another one is the thinking speed. I remember, I think I also talked about this in the class. So like, for example, in 1 minute, okay, mostly when I'm talking right now, I'm using, for example, 200 words per minute, right? 200 words. Do you see on your
Yes, sir.
screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, so I'm using 200 words in 1 minute, right? And
Yes, sir.
human beings have the capacity, or they can understand 800 words per minute. What? 800
Yes, sir.
words per minute. So if I'm using 200 words per minute, right? So for example, if your capacity is 800 words per minute, so how
Yes,
much
sir.
time it will take to understand these 200 words? Yes. Like, for example, I'll give you again.
800.
You have the capacity
15
to
seconds, sir.
you have the capacity to understand 800 words in 1 minute, right?
Yes, sir.
800 words, okay, in 1 minute. Now, I'm using 200 words per minute. So
Yes, sir.
how much time will it take?
15 seconds,
15
sir.
seconds.
15 seconds, of course.
15.
15 seconds. So how much time is left with you?
45
45
45.
seconds, sir.
seconds.
Yes,
40,
you are
45.
left. Yes, you are left with the uh 45 seconds. So what do you do in those 45 seconds? You think. Remember,
Yes,
this is
sir.
a
We are thinking
positive
about.
thing. God has given us this quality, that our thinking speed is so high. And what happens is that the problem comes is what we call is the mental lagging. Okay, that we think
Yes, sir.
about other things. Okay, and what happens is that sometimes we get involved in those other things so much that we even stop listening to that person. So this is something very
Yes, sir.
dangerous, that our thinking speed is so high. And so what would be the solution is that whenever you listen to somebody, you will go and think about other things, and you will come back, right? You will tell
Yes, sir.
yourself
Focus.
that yes, focus. Okay, so this will be the struggle you
Make
will be
eye
doing
contact with
while
the
listening
speaker.
to somebody. Yes.
Yes, sir.
And another one, the second last one is the premature evaluation, is that you do not ask questions or interrupt the speaker. Premature evaluation is, again, that we have so
Yes,
this
sir.
thinking speed that whatever the speaker is saying, we evaluate it and prematurely, like we ask questions that, sir, this is, or add something to that. So we should not interrupt what? The speaker, right? And this last one is the semantic stereotype. I think I also talked about this one.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Yes.
What happened, sir?
Can you hear me now?
So
Yes, yes.
الله شاجي شاجيوري
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
I can
Can
hear
you
you.
hear
yes,
me?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
So, yes, what is this semantic stereotype? Yes, we talked about it, I guess.
The wrong idea, sir.
What?
A mistaken idea or wrong idea.
Now, mistaken idea or wrong idea?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, if you see, no, like there are there are some stereotype words, okay, that people do not like it, right? For example, let me give you an example. Like, for example, there are certain people that we do not like, okay? Do you listen to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, sir. We can listen.
Yes, sir.
Sir, when we don't like people, so again it's called prejudice. So
Yes, again, yes, prejudice against the speaker, but if you see this stereotype is like there are certain kind of people, right, who
Like sir,
bothers us,
Imran Khan.
like,
Like sir, if Imran Khan
and
said
certain words
تبديلي
also
تبديلي.
bother us. Certain words and certain people bother us, like when we use these words, or when the speaker use these words repeatedly, what happens time and again, they cause annoyance, right? Or you get like it really bothers you. For example, if I
yes,
say, like, if you remember, I give you this example, that there are certain words, okay, that it has a stereotype, or semantic means meaning, okay, that it has a stereotypical meaning. Like, for example, when I say, should I say it? Like, for example, when I say Naswar, what are you connecting it to?
To Pathan.
Yes, to Patan. See, so there are certain words that it reminds you of something, that is very stereotypical. For example, if I talk about dancing, or if I talk about khatak,
khatak.
right? What will
Is
happen?
dancing.
Yes, sir. Hatak.
Yes. So if I'm
Yes.
using those words in my conversation, in my speaking, what will happen is that it will really divert you. It will really divert your attention. So we should not, like, we should be aware of certain semantic stereotype words, okay, or people. There are certain, but semantic type words, right? So there are certain words which has a stereotypical meaning, right? That they
Okay,
really
sir. We
disturb
got
us, that they really disturb us. Like, for example, I'll give you another example. For example, you're sitting in a class, okay, and people use certain words, and that word has a stereotypic typical meaning, okay, it diverts your attention. Do you get it?
Yes, sir. We get it.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so do you want to ask me?
Sir Hasinullah has passed the entry test.
Okay, good, very good.
MashaAllah. Many congratulations.
So will he leave us, or will he be in the class?
Yes, sir. He will leave us.
Okay.
will do not leave us.
Yes,
Sir,
he will not leave
I'm here,
us.
sir. I'm here.
Okay. Okay,
Had
stop.
this class for the first time.
Okay. Now listen. Now, at least after this class, I should not tell you to listen.
Okay, sir.
Why? Because now you understand what listening skills are, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
yes.
sir. We got it.
So,
Yes.
so yes, why did I take this class? So tomorrow, if you you get a question in the paper, you never tell me that it was out of course. So we have covered this part as well. And from tomorrow, we'll be doing the same thing, those passages and question answer and reading more. Okay.
Sir, can you take the class every day?
Sir,
What?
sir, please send these topics
Okay. Okay. I'll just send
in the
you.
group.
Just after this class, I will send you. Is there any question you want to ask me?
Sir, upload these lectures on YouTube and we will watch your videos from YouTube.
Okay. 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 Inshallah.